welcome back to the Now Morning Show here on TTT. I am Natalie Lagore. It's Thursday, and of course, you know it's that segment, Your Body and You, where we just get into all the things that can affect us as men, as women, boy, girl, child, you name it. And the thing is that a lot of times we are what you call blindsided. Now, here is a survivor because we are celebrating breast cancer awareness, not breast cancer. We're celebrating breast cancer awareness because we know how important it is for you to be aware and to get screened so that you can find out what's going on with your body. So let's welcome to the program our survivor, Sarita Rampersad. Good morning to you, Sarita.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us. You know, I have survived a lot. I don't know if you know my story, but my list is very long.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a long story. I wouldn't want to tell you here on
Maybe you should be the guest on your show.
No. They're going to need about a 5 hours ruckus, you think?
We can probably get it done in 2.
Yeah.
We can probably get the story in 2.
Yeah, so since we can't do that, let us see if we can focus a bit on you and talk to us about your journey with breast cancer. And one of the questions I like to start with is just take us back to that moment when you recognized that something was wrong.
Okay, sure. So it's a year ago, end of September 2020. Around mid-September, I started to feel a pain under my arm. It felt like a pulled muscle. So it wasn't anything cancer specific. And it nagged me for like 2 weeks. I had never been to the doctor. So, it wasn't my first thought to go and check it out.
Right.
But something was in my mind saying, check it. So finally, after about 2 weeks, I went to see Dr. Sabgo, and she did a check and also did a breast exam, and she drew out a diagram of my breast and pinpointed where she felt lumps. So, I mean, that's a good thing to do. You know, if you have to do tests and breast exams, to actually draw out your breast so you know where the lumps are, and you could remember, because you forget things, right? So she did that and then referred me for an ultrasound mammogram. I did all the tests. As soon as I went for the ultrasound mammogram the next day, I knew it was cancer because the doctor looked worried. Dr. Peters started off real cool, and he said, he did the ultrasound, and he said, you're going to have to go for a mammogram today. And I knew it was cancer. I knew. So I did it. The next day I got the results, and they scale cancer on a BIRAD scale, which is 0 to 6. So when I did my ultrasound, I was a 4, and when I did the mammogram, it was a 5.
Wow. So the worst you can get is a 6, and you're already at a 4 or 5.
I was at a 4 and 5 to start with.
And the thing is that it was just a nagging pain, as you said, in the pit of your arm.
I had no symptoms at all. I still don't know what cancer feels like because I had no symptoms. And that's the thing. For the period where I went for the tests, and then before I got the results from the biopsy to confirm, because people say, don't jump to conclusions, it could be nothing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was, it could be something, right?
But
so
and that period, how long was it between you feeling that slight pull in your arm to when you got the results?
About half of a month. So about 2.5 weeks, because I started to feel it around the 11th of September. And by the 29th of September, the mammogram came back.
And I don't want to talk about in the heights of a pandemic.
Well, that's the thing, right? So I managed to catch it on the dip down before it went back up, which was, I guess, lucky, right? Because I didn't have to deal with the health system basically was shoving people aside for COVID. And I didn't get shoved. I went in straight away. I registered at St. James and started treatment about a month and a half after diagnosis. So end of November is when I knew I was going to start chemo.
Yeah.
And it was excellent. I mean, the care so far is excellent, right? The public service is great.
But emotionally, though, what was it like for you?
Well,
because
as
you said, it's just going through all of these things so rapidly and not even getting time to process or to even, go through what really is happening to. I mean, within a month and a half, you're talking about chemotherapy.
Yeah, I mean, for the period where I didn't know what was happening, I was Googling everything. Yeah. And I thought I was going to go to the doctors and have them say, look, we can't do anything for you. We're going to try and prolong your life as long as possible, because I did not know what cancer felt like. I didn't know how it would kill you. I had no clue what to expect, right? So in that period, I was waiting for I guess the feeling of cancer to come on and maybe start the process of dying. I didn't know what it would feel like. And
do you think
I
that's
thought every
something-
morning I got up would be my last morning.
And you think that is something that we need to treat within the system, in that so many diagnoses, we are literally unaware
Yeah.
of what to expect. It's
Yeah.
not just cancer. I can tell you that when I started dialysis, I had no idea what my life was going to be like.
Yeah, exactly. You
know.
have a real gap in information across the board. Like when you go into treatment,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to do chemo, they give you some information, you do it, and then they say, okay, surgery next, right? Because I had neoadjuvant chemo, which is where they try to shrink the tumor, because it was here and under my arm in the lymph nodes. Try to shrink it to get clear margins for surgery. But then you move into surgery, but you don't really know what to expect. So in between, I think there are real gaps of information that could be filled. And I was looking all over the place. I actually pulled together all the information I got and put it into like a cancer cheat sheet that I shared online. Because what I learned and what I had to pass through to get that knowledge,
Most of it you
I
had to
just
learn on
made-
your own.
well, a lot of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
A lot
most
of it I
you had to
learned and then
on your
confirmed
own.
with
Yeah.
doctors.
Because, and I think that's the fundamental issue. It can be the difference between somebody living and dying, you know.
Exactly, and I'll tell you why. Because cancer is like, you know, it's like Pac-Man. They gobble up everything, right? And I was in my mind, I was thinking, oh, this is like a metabolic colonizer, right? They invade and try to take over everything. And my job as a person with it is to make my healthy cells, the army, as strong as possible to fight it off. And that's what I did. In the month and a half that I had to prep for chemo, I ate like a champ. I cut out everything processed.
Yeah.
Ate lean meats, fruits, veggies, and I felt good. I still feel great.
And you think
I'm
that made
healthier
a
now with
difference?
cancer than before.
You think that how you ate in that
Most
month and a half
definitely.
made a difference to your
for
outcome?
Sure. Because I knew chemo was going to lick me up, so I wanted to start as high as possible so I wouldn't get too low.
Yeah. And anybody, I mean, the doctors sat and said to you, okay, how you would feel after surgery, or, you know, what are the things you needed to do after surgery? Not just not just to ensure that you don't get an infection, but in terms of like, you know, psychologically, you know, your movements, your range.
It was very basic, right? They did try. I mean, but you see hundreds of patients a day. So you know, unless you ask questions as a patient, unless you know what questions to ask and to direct your energies properly, you'll just go out there in a sea of confusion. So what I actually did, when I came out of surgery and they put you in the recovery room, I actually woke up like this, right, with my hand behind my head, how I sleep.
Yeah.
And I thought the doctors put it like that to help with the range of motion, right, so I wouldn't get scarred and stiff. And when I went into the ward and I asked them about it, they said, no, we didn't do that. But if that is the case, keep doing it. So I had range of motion almost full from the start because I kept doing it.
Yeah.
And I learned that is something you could do. And people will tell you that.
Yeah.
They tell you, you know, baby it, but you don't want to baby it.
Yeah, because you might end up with other problems
And
that
yeah,
you don't
and you get
need.
stiff and you get caught and you get a whole heap of things that they don't tell you about. But I learned and I put it in the cheat sheet.
1 year after, how are you doing?
I am great. I have 2 more cycles and then done.
I can't knock too good because the fingers aren't too good, but you have my knock.
Yes, thanks.
And you know, so chemo, how was it on your body though? I know you said you tried to make sure that you build up yourself as much as you could.
I did. So chemo basically kills. It's like, you know, they go and they mop up everything, right? So chemo would go in and kill everything, including healthy cells.
And you know how to
And
rebuild.
that is what I was trying to avoid from the start. So something that I learned is if you fast before you do chemo, and by fasting I don't mean like not eating or drinking, I mean like less than 700 calories. So what I did is drank fish broth for 2 days before and callaloo, a little bit of callaloo. 2 days before, day after chemo. What it does is it slows down your healthy cells, right? So when you get the chemo, cancer doesn't slow down, cancer just keeps going. When you get the chemo infusion, your healthy cells soak up less of it. And that worked for me. I mean, chemo, the effects are cumulative. So as you do each treatment, it would get worse. But I was mostly fine. I had no nausea.
But do you think you can convince the doctors of how your intervention would have made a difference? Because a lot of times we have this this imbalance between what we consider anecdotal and what we consider science.
But I've looked it up, and everything I found research papers for. It's not like I didn't get it on, like,
yeah,
Religious Science Weekly or whatever. It was PubMed, NCBI, legitimate sources with research papers and information and footnotes, the whole thing. And I've shared it with doctors, and they said it was excellent, and they're going to share. They share it with people. So
well, I am happy to hear that, because a lot of times, we see people, what we grew up with and what we know and somehow never got sick with just get discounted just because it isn't measured on a scale, and documented as somebody would have wanted. And then just because of that, it's no good.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that you trust your doctors, trust science, but also advocate for yourself. Because if you don't do it, nobody else would, right? And I don't think doctors expect you to come in there. The ones I've had were great, because I ask a lot of questions, but I don't think they come in there expecting patients to have an active role in their recovery and their treatment.
At all.
They expect you to come in and do what they say, which is fine, but you have to understand why you're doing it, and you have to understand what you could do to make the treatment work better. Yeah. And if you don't, well, you don't start as strong as you could.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But tell me about, just going through a pandemic, as you said, having to go through chemotherapy. As you said, thank God, you are doing well so far, and thank God you did all the research that you needed to do so that you could help yourself. But going through all of that, how did it affect the people around you?
They were great. They went into overdrive from the start. So one of my drugs, I needed to raise funds for because it was expensive. And I have friends and family that just went into their own subgroup to organize fundraisers and stuff. And so I didn't have to cope with any of that. So they were excellent. A friend drove me to chemo and picked me up for the first 6 cycles until I knew that I was fine, because you don't know what to expect again. Yeah. And I didn't know if I could drive it or if I'd be, on the ground. And then, so yeah, they've all been very present, very involved. They've people that I haven't talked to in years just came back out. And I told friends, it's like being able to go to your own funeral, because you get to see and hear what people say about you. And it's great. It's great.
Not only that, I think these kind of interventions in our lives make us realize what's important and who is important.
Yep.
You know, and just what are the things we need to stay connected to.
Yeah.
You know?
It strips away all of the fluff and you get on to basics.
Definitely, for sure. So 2 more cycles to go, but do you have the fear of, relapsing, of getting cancer again?
And that's the thing. So, I mean, people say survival, but I don't use that word, because survival implies that the event you live through is gone, and cancer is never gone as a threat. It's always in the back of your mind. I've taken off one boob. Sorry, could I say boob on TV?
Yes,
yeah,
sure.
Taken off one boob, gonna take the other one off shortly. I hope sooner than later, within the next 4 to 6 months. And then I'll have that one less thing to think about. But I mean, quite frankly, I'd never had surgery before this. But if I could take out everything I don't need just to avoid cancer, I would do that.
Yeah.
Man, ovaries gone, hysterectomy, yep, bring it on.
And you see, that kind of mind frame is probably what got you through it, because it's that you're prepared to deal with it head on and to just do what you need to do, to survive.
That's what Dr. Sabga said when I got the thing. She said she never had a patient come in there and say, just tell me what I need to do. Because that's what I did. I said, just tell me what I need to do. Don't tell me anything. Just tell me what I need to do.
You didn't spend any time feeling sorry for yourself.
No, before I knew and everything was uncertain, I did feel like they were not sorry for myself, but worried and like I was going to die. But I don't think I ever asked why me. Because it could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and it happens to so many people.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, Sarita, that I really hope that you continue to grow from strength to strength. And you see that spirit that you have, don't discount it, darling. It can take you through almost everything in life, that belief that you're going to be okay, and don't ever lose sight of that.
Yeah, I mean, even if your cancer is terminal, don't give up without a fight.
Yeah.
Go wrong fighting.
That's it.
Go wrong fighting.
That's what I said. Live until you die.
Exactly.
Yes.
I don't give into it.
Yes, so Sarita, continue to live, and thank you so much for sharing your story. And hopefully,
Thank you.
somebody out there who is watching it will be an inspiration to them to just understand that sometimes you think you're going through it by yourself, but
You know.
we always have company.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
People
and
online.
we can learn
yeah.
from each other.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if they want to find your story that you shared, all the things that you pulled together, where can they find
I
it?
have a website and Facebook page. Sarita says Fork Cancer, F-O-R-K, Cancer. Yeah, to make sure to articulate that properly.
Sarita says fork, F-O-R-K, cancer.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
So that basically is a whole.
Yeah, by the time
thing.
you put the Trini lingo in it, I'm sure they could come up with a different pronunciation.
Well, I do. Off of TV. Yeah.
Sarita Rampersad, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're most welcome. Sarita Rampersad there sharing her story with us. And as she said, you know what, just do what you need to do, but make sure that you arm yourself with knowledge as well, because that can make a difference between living and dying.